Hello, Adam here. So, thinking that you have endless amounts of time is killing your opportunity to live your best life. And this is something I've been reflecting on in the last day because of certain events that have happened. One is I had a dear friend who she lost friends in Israel who she lived with. And they were basically murdered in what's going on there. And she actually saw it on videotape. And it was very traumatizing, obviously, for her to see that. And, I think because it was so close to her, and it was just also a reminder to me that, we think we're going to live forever. We never know when it's our last day, And even if you're going to live, though, another 50 years or 100 years, however long, there's still certain checkpoints. If we're living a purposeful, meaningful life, there's certain checkpoints if we're on our spiritual path that I think the divine tries to get us to. And if we think we have forever, we're going to miss those points if we don't act on our synchronicities, if we don't act from a place of realizing, the gravitas of that moment. Because I work with the world's most powerful flower essences from around the world, it's amazing medicine, and because I facilitate, more than the average person, I think I get to see other people's synchronicities when they meet me, because sometimes it's very obvious when I meet someone and they're like, oh, I was looking for a flower ceremony or a plant medicine ceremony, or I was looking for something to do and I just felt called. As soon as you start talking, it feels like a synchronicity. So I get to see other people's synchronicities when they manifest me, which is cool. And I also get to see all the different ways that people respond to that synchronicity. And some people just go full in on it right away, which is generally the best thing to do. And other people, they, there was a woman yesterday, and she was a beautiful woman and very nice, very kind, middle-aged woman from Australia. And she was here, and she had been looking for like a plant medicine sort of ceremony here, and she wasn't finding it. Someone offered her a mushroom trip. It cost like $500, and it didn't totally resonate with her. And she was leaving Bali tomorrow, which is now today. And she happened to sit down at a table that I was sitting at in this restaurant, and we started talking, and I started to talk about, that I have these amazing flower essences, and she was just lighting up because she had already worked with Bach flowers, and I could tell, when we started talking, like she had been manifesting this synchronicity to meet me, and the flowers, what they are good for is they're amazing for helping to integrate and to harmonize your life. So she was going through this transition where she was going back to Australia, and my intuition was, oh, this is perfect timing for her, But something in her, maybe because she's used to making decisions a bit slower, she couldn't quite, say, like, I was saying, like, hey, why don't we do this session in 2 hours? I have the time at 9 p.m. tonight. You're leaving 8 a.m. in the morning, so we only have a small window. We could do it either in person. We can do it over the phone. I could send it to you, there's different services here. We can send something to somebody's address very easily, very quickly. So I was trying to, help her out, and she just couldn't quite pull the trigger. And, I could feel like there was something stopping her, but at the same time, she was saying she was really tired and she had just had a really full day. So there was this sort of impetus or thing that was stopping her from fully going forward with it, even though I could see it was her synchronicity, and even though I can't say 100% she was meant to do that flower session with me, I can say that, from my experience, the flowers are amazing for helping people integrate and harmonize. And I could feel from my own intuition, it would have been really good for her to take that back with her to Australia to help her integrate all the changes she already had in Bali and to, help shift further things in a nice, gentle way, And she's not going to be back from Bali for 6 months, So that's like a 6-month window where all those effects of what she could have received she won't have that. She won't have those ripple effects, And I remember it just brought me back, I guess the converging of seeing how different people handle different synchronicities, and then also with what happened to my friend with her friends getting murdered. It made me, reflect on we don't have forever, we don't have forever to hit certain checkpoints. I know I've missed checkpoints in my life for sure. Certain opportunities which I felt would be there for a longer period of time, and they disappeared. And and I remember I had a dear friend in Guatemala, And he was someone I really admired because I could feel he was super aligned within himself, and he had a very deep sense of commitment to his purpose here. And he told me, Adam, you know what? Like, there's certain like times in my life where I felt I need to be like in this place at this time, and he would tell me some story about how he had to be at this place, and he missed that checkpoint. His mind made some reason to not be there, to not quite get there. And he said we could feel when he missed that, like it was like he's not quite where he needs to be. He's not hitting his checkpoint. His soul's not quite in alignment. And then he told me, he told me right after that, and he told me, and he had a checkpoint that he had just actually hit with, and he was with a certain group of people at a certain place at a certain time, and he could feel like his whole soul was like, yes, this is where he needed to be. And it felt great, and it had just this qualitatively different feel about everything in his life when he hit that checkpoint. So, if we miss checkpoints in the past, every time we miss it, it's like we're like moving off our highest timeline. Now, if you've missed checkpoints in the past, does that mean you can't get back on the highest timeline? Well, I would say that's not the right question, because I've missed checkpoints. I think everyone's missed checkpoints at some point, because there's many distractions. Of course, we all have egos, and we have different things that can get us off the path of that magical synchronicity and that magical path. When we're really in the flow of life, we can really feel it. And so when we get off that path, the question isn't can I get back on the path I was on? It's what's the checkpoint right now I have to hit in my life right now that's available to me right now. Because I can guarantee you that if you hit every checkpoint from this point forward, that your highest path that you could hit, you would live an amazing life, right? So even if you only lived like 2 more months, even if you died this Christmas, these next 2 months would be incredible, and you would have such a positive impact on the world if you hit every single checkpoint in those 2 months. So the point being is, don't worry about what happened in the past, because what happened in the past is already done. But what can you do right now? What are you procrastinating on that would align you in a deeper way? What are you using some excuse, whether it's laziness, whether it's wanting to have a little bit higher money digit in your bank account, 1 digit or even 2 digits from the right of your USD or Euro bank account, or what reasons are you using, what excuses, distractions are you using to not be in your highest timeline? Of course, there might be a legitimate reason sometimes not to do something. I'm not saying that. But when you really know something is going to help you out, when you really feel like a deeper soul calling to something, every time you think, oh, I can do this 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, a lot of times that's coming from the mind. And it's actually, this is the time when you can really seize the moment, And of course, only you can really know what your deeper intuition is saying in that moment. But if you can really take hold of these moments, not procrastinate, not wait, and really make the most of every moment, that's how you're going to live your best life. You might have a lot of time on this planet, but you really don't have a lot of time if you want to get on your highest path, So if you want to start living your best life, you want to start to make the biggest impact, you want to live a life of more joy, more sense of feeling gratitude. I know for me, when I'm living a life in alignment day by day, when I feel like I'm hitting all those points, I'm hitting those checkpoints, life feels great, feels magical. When I'm missing it, something's missing, And it's much easier to live in alignment with the now when we're hitting these checkpoints. So don't believe that you have endless time. Make the most of every moment, and that's how you're going to live your best life. Yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe. I'll be making a lot more videos about spirituality, holistic health, and if you want to comment maybe about your own experiences about hitting these checkpoints, and I hope you have an amazing, blessed day full of divine light, synchronicity, love, joy, peace, and I'll see you in the next video.